Morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 39. Sasavadi vrityanabuta sarva Atma yataspapna janekshitaika Tam satyamanandam nirimbhajeta Nanyatra sajjet yata atmapata. Word for word. Sa, he the Supreme Person. Sarvadi vriti, the process of realizations by all sorts of intelligence. Anubhuta, cognizant. Sarve, everyone. Atma, the Supersoul. Yata, as much as. Spapnajana, a person dreaming. Ikshita, seen by. Eka, one and the same. Tam, unto him. Satyam, the supreme truth. Anandanidim, the ocean of bliss. Bhajita, must one worship. Na, never. Anyatra, anything else. Sajet, be attached. Yata, whereby. Atmapata, degradation of oneself. Translation: one should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just as ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams. One must concentrate the mind on him, the only all-blissful, absolute truth. Otherwise, one will be misled and will cause his own degradation. Prabhupada gives a very long purport, and this ends this particular chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, the first step in God realization. So, long purport, if you just bear with it. Purport: in this verse, the process of devotional service is indicated by the great Goswami Srila Shukadev. He tries to impress upon us that instead of diverting our attention to several branches of self-realization, we should concentrate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the supreme object of realization, worship and devotion. Self-realization is, as it were, offering a fight for eternal life against the material struggle for existence. And therefore, by the illusory grace of the external energy, the yogi or the devotee is faced with many allurements which can entangle a great fighter again in the bondage of material existence. A yogi can attain miraculous successes in material achievements such as anima and lagima, by which one can become more minute than the minutest or lighter than the lightest, or in the ordinary sense, one may achieve material benedictions in the shape of wealth and women. But one is warned against such allurements, because entanglement again in such illusory pleasure means degradation of the self and further imprisonment in the material world. By this warning, one should follow one's vigilant intelligence only. Supreme Lord is one, and his expansions are various. He is therefore the super soul of everything. When a man sees anything, he must know that his seeing is secondary and the Lord's seeing is primary. One cannot see anything without the Lord's having first seen it. That is the instruction of the Vedas and the Upanishads. So whatever we see or do, the super soul of all acts of seeing, So whatever we see or do, the super soul of all acts of seeing or doing is the Lord. This theory of the simultaneous oneness and difference between the individual soul and the super soul is propounded by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the philosophy of Achincha Veda Veda Tattva. The Virat Rupa, or the gigantic feature of the Supreme Lord, includes everything materially manifested, and therefore the Virat or gigantic feature of the Lord is the super soul of all living and non-living entities. But the Virat Rupa is also the manifestation of Narayan or Vishnu, and going further on and on, one will eventually see that Lord Krishna is the ultimate super soul of everything Eventually said that everything that... The conclusion is that one should unhesitatingly become a worshipper of Lord Krishna. For that matter, his plenary expansion, Narayan, and none else. In the Vedic hymns, it is clearly said that first of all, Narayan cast a glance over matter, and thus there was creation. Before creation, there was neither Brahma nor Shiva, not to speak of others. Sripad Sankaracharya has definitely accepted this, that Narayan is beyond the material creation, and that all others are within the material creation. The whole material creation, therefore, is one with and different from Narayan simultaneously, and this supports the Achincha Bheda Bheda Tattva philosophy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Being an emanation from the glancing potency of Narayan, the whole material creation is non-different from him, but because it is the effect of the external energy, Bahiranga Maya, and is aloof from the internal potency, Atma Maya, the whole material creation is different from him at the same time. The example given in this verse very nicely is that of the dreaming man. The dreaming man creates many things in his dream, and thus he himself becomes the entangled seer of the dream, and is also affected by the consequences. This material creation is exactly a dream-like creation of the Lord, but he, being the transcendental supersoul, is neither entangled nor affected by the reactions of such a dream-like creation. He is always in his transcendental position, but essentially he is everything, and nothing is apart from him. It's a part of him. One should therefore concentrate on him only without deviation. Otherwise, one is sure to be overcome by the potencies of the material creation, one after another. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.7 as follows: Sarvabhutani kontaya prakritim ayanti mamikam kalpa chaye punastani kalpa do vistrijam yaham. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, every material manifestation enters into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency I again create. The human life, however, is an opportunity to get out of this repetition of creation and annihilation. It is a means whereby one may escape the Lord's external potency and enter into his internal potency. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the second canto, first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The First Step in God Realization. So, this chapter comes to a close, and we begin in the next chapter, which is called The Lord in the Heart. The Lord in the Heart. What is that? What is that noise? Watch me. Okay, the distractions of the material world. A washing machine. Okay.
Just because the door is open.
Yeah, if you could close that door. I think it's on that spin cycle. Okay, there we go. Sasavadi Vrityanabhuta Sarva. Now, one should concentrate his mind on the personality of Godhead, who distributes himself in so many manifestations. Just like ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams. Everyone is very familiar with dreams, and we regularly have dreams, and in the dream so many things are created from our experience and our mind, and we can have thousands and thousands of them. We can become very affected by those dreams. Sometimes those dreams become nightmares, and we become, sometimes we wake up from a heavy dream or a nightmare, being very affected by it. But of course, the dream of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like it is said that the big Mahavishnu lies in the causal ocean, and he goes into the Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra means asleep, and but he is fully conscious in that sleep. It's not when we go into a sleep and dream. We are unconscious, we're not aware of anything outside, and we become so absorbed in it that we get affected by it. But the Lord is transcendent. His position is not like that, It is like a dream. And everything, not a dream in the material sense, but just like it is going on in the sleep, the yoga nidra. Nidra means sleep. In the nidra of the Mahavishnu, all these things are coming out, but he is fully cognizant of everything. And just as we have thousands, the Lord can have unlimited amounts of expansions coming from him. And this is why this example is given of the dream. It's like a dream. Just an ordinary person creates 1,000 manifestations in dreams. There are so many manifestations that the Lord manifests and expands himself in so many ways, so many energies. Yet he is personally present. There are energies and there is his personal form. Just how much the Lord expands everywhere is inconceivable to the conditioned soul.
And offer me, gulab jamans, halwa, sweet. I'm full. I can't take another thing. Of course, in the material world, we have a body, and 6 hours later, we're hungry again. We're going to take those gulab jamans. But spiritually speaking, when you're full, actually that only increases. Here the word is used, satyam ananda nidam, or ananda medium. Nidam means a great ocean. The absolute truth is a great ocean of bliss. A great ocean of bliss. And when one reaches that ocean of bliss, one is full in that bliss. And that bliss increases more and more, just as the bliss of the Supreme Personality of Godhead increases. So when we're in full connection with that Supreme Personality, our bliss increases. So how to go there and how to stay there, that should be the serious endeavour of the practitioner. So those who are practitioners, now it's quite common for those who take up the path, especially in the beginning stages, to go away from it. This is not unusual. Many take it up and many go away. And especially if they're trying to go to the topmost level. Many take it and many give it up. That's not so astounding. What's more astounding is those who stick to it. This person has stuck to it for so long, going along. Sometimes there are distractions. One may be temporarily distracted, but if one keeps pulling themselves, that means you're strengthening your mind. If you're always giving in, your mind becomes weak, intelligence becomes weak. You're pulling it, even if there are so many allurements in there. Now here it is said that the allurements can be very gross allurements, money, possessions, all these types of things can be more subtle, popularity, gain, subtle things. Now, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he comments that one has to be careful on the path of advancement, because the allurements not only are gross, are subtle. And he gives the example, just like someone may want to start a business to help the devotional service, doing devotional, do the business and use the money to do so many things at the temple or to spreading the movement. And so one may have that idea to do that, and that's nice. But he said, but one has to be careful, because the original intention is that, but if one is not careful, one is not vigilant, again this word, using their vigilant, watching out for possible dangers, difficulty, one is not vigilant, then gross and subtle things, allurements may come in to deter you. And he gives the example, just like putti nati. Now you've started a business and you're doing it for devotional, but these subtle things, contamination start coming in. Then you start finding others. Well, I've started this business doing good. That devotee over there started a business. Not so good. And this one's not so good either. My business, that's good. I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm doing so many things around the temple. It's goody nothing. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta gives this example. Just like that. One can be like that. You may have the best intentions originally, but then these things start creeping in. So therefore you have to be vigilant. So kutinati or jiva himsa become envious. Or someone's actually doing better than you. They've started a business, yours isn't going so good, theirs is going really great. Then you get very envious. Start to criticise, pull them down, say nasty things, even though the nasty things aren't there. You make them up because you're envious. When someone is envious, they've got to say bad things. It's like a mathematical equation. They got it. And that enviousness comes from ignorance. It comes from pride, which again goes to envy. So when you're envious, you've got to say bad things about others. It's just that envy pushes you. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta says these things: Kutinati, jiva himself, puja, popularity. You know, you're seeking popularity. Oh, I've made a lot of money. You know, I've done so many things, and everyone, you know, likes me, praises me. I'm so good. Look at me. I'm the best devotee, or I'm the most advanced devotee. I'm doing so many things. So these are subtle contaminations that come in. One has to be very careful. So it's a great art to understand these things. Therefore, one needs help from those who experience. In one sense, the definition of the guru or the sadhu is that one who's experienced through the eyes of the Shastra or through personal experience in so many different ways. They know the pitfall, they know the dangers. You know, just like if you want to go for a swim, you go out, and then the surf lifesaver is very familiar with that area. Don't go over there, there's rips over there. What do you know? Right, so then you go out and whoop, you're at the back, you didn't even know. And you so you didn't even know. So don't you know? So people, you know, these contaminations come in, and then it can lead you again. One will be misled and cause his own degradation. You have to be focused, taking help, and there's another Tesham Kupata Destinam Patam Tamsida Yesadu Budesheva Majan Yashpavaiva. You have to follow the right people also, those who are actually advanced on the spiritual path. And don't follow people who are ignorant or blind. You know, it's like if you want to get on a boat, if you've got on a boat that's a kind of a stone boat, it doesn't really float. You get on the boat and the boat just sinks. So you're following this one. This person is really ignorant. They're kind of blind. And there's a blind leading the blind. Just like, you know, there's a blind person. And going, yeah, I think it's over here. But the other person's also, yeah, where is it? Yeah, you just follow me. It's crazy. That person's blind and you're blind, so who knows where you're going to end up. Yeah, follow me. Yeah, it's over here. So people who are ignorant, they're like that. You know, they might give advice, they might sound very intellectual, sound very authoritative, but actually are they? So one has to follow the proper authority, very, very important. And then by doing that, one understands how to go about going on the path very seriously. And one will develop all this vigilance, intelligence, understand the position of the Lord, and know what the allurements are even before they come. But even if one is distracted, one takes help how to overcome that. All these things are there. So the human life is an opportunity to get out of the repetition of creation and annihilation. It is a means whereby one may escape the Lord's external potency, enter into the internal potency. So this ends this particular chapter, and as I said, tomorrow we start the Lord in the heart. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any comment, question you want to ask?
Just thinking about this concept of the super soul existing in every atom. This one time, before I came to Krishna consciousness, I kind of had a bit of a experience where I saw every atom like it was staring at me. Yeah. It was very scary.
The atom was staring at you?
And all the atoms were just conscious and they were staring.
Were you drinking anything that day?
And I experienced that it was really scary actually. It's like, and it reminded me, like now connecting it, it's like, Vaisheshika Prabhu, he tells a story like, a bird got stuck in his house, and he was trying to help the bird out, and the bird was always running away from him because the bird is scared, even though he was trying to help the bird. So the same thing too when we start to experience that there's this conscious being actually all around us. It's quite overwhelming. It's like
You think about it, it's everywhere. The form of the Lord is everywhere. Conscious and enabling everything. That is very amazing. And of course, you know, the atoms staring at me, all these sorts of things. These are kind of imagination. And just like I remember one story with Prabhupada, and a disciple of Prabhupada came to me, Prabhupada, I had a dream of you, and in the dream you told me to do this and do that and do the other thing. And Prabhupada, that wasn't me. That was the Buddha. He said, I never said that. I never said that. You're imagining. So we can imagine so many things, but whether they actually go. Yeah. But the point is good that you had that feeling before, but actually the spiritual reality is that Krishna is there and he's doing so many wonderful activities on the subatomic level that we don't even know about.
The material energy, Krishna, he creates it, he's in the material energy, but he creates it to act in such a way that it appears that it's not in the material energy.
That's right, yeah, that's what I was saying then. So how wonderful is Krishna? That he creates something, he fulfills our desire to be separate from him, but there's nothing that is apart from him. There's no existence that's apart from him. So we have to create something where we think he's not there, but actually he's there. But we're thinking he's not there and we're separate from him, but he's there at every step. Now, who can do that? So the super soul, he knows. Now, super soul is spread everywhere. Now, one time Prabhupada gave the definition. How does Krishna know everything? And this one said this and the other one said that. And then he said, because he is everywhere. If you were everywhere, you would know everything too. If you were everywhere, just imagine that Krishna's in the atom. He knows what's going on down there. So therefore he is the knower of everything. So one who said, well, I am also the super soul. But do you know everything? Can you know everything? So the word super soul, it's a very interesting, super, paramatma and atma, there is a difference in as far as they're the same, and this goes to this Achincha Veda. They're the same in spirituality, but they are different in their greatness and their functioning and so on and so forth. All right, last question.
You mentioned that we should follow the right people.
Sorry, the what?
The right people. That we should follow the right people. So, can you just briefly just point out how we can follow the right people, and then by recognizing who's the right person, then how we avoid not doing putina to the ones who are not doing the right thing.
Well, I mean, Prabhupada explains that, first of all, there needs to be some preliminary education to understand about the right people and the not so right people. And so, therefore, he wanted these books like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, distributed profusely all over. At least people can read in the books, okay, this is spirituality and how do I advance on spirituality. So they have some idea of approaching someone who's advanced spiritually. Now, as far as understanding, these things will also, who is that person? These things will also be described. What are the qualities of such a, just like in Bhagavad Gita, the person who is not envious of others. There's chapters in Bhagavad Gita, who is the great devotee? The qualities of a great devotee are given by Krishna. And then just which one you're going to follow, that is, if one is sincere in advancing in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness, then Krishna knows from within the heart, and Krishna will help one be able to understand who is that right person. from within the heart. So along within the heart, along with the direction of the explanations of the Shastra, the descriptions of who these and the qualities of these great persons, all these things combined, taking the advice of others, all these things combined together. It has to be combined together. There are elements, there are many elements involved in all this. If we just by ourselves try to do everything, then quite probably we won't be successful or we'll make a mistake. So therefore all the elements have to be there, and if we follow all these things, going along, then we'll make nice advancement, we'll make rapid advancement on the path of devotion. So, Jai Sri Prabhupada ki Jai, Bol Premanandi,
HH Ramai Swami.